And I'm talking right now.
Okay, perfect. That's exactly what happened.
So what happened to it?
When I plugged it back in, for some reason it set the output to my microphone.
Oh, weird.
Yeah. So we've never had that problem before. So
I mean, people could still enjoy my face, but the dialogue wouldn't be great.
I mean, I just didn't want to be like, what did you say, Joey? Can you put that in the chat?
Yeah.
No, I knew it was some weird configuration error because we've never had problems like that before.
Yeah.
This thing, I know that this mic tweaks sometimes. Like, so when I first logged in and you couldn't hear me, I was like, oh, the mic is tripping. Anyway, problems.
Hey, my wife logged on yesterday. She was one of the live viewers.
Oh,
And
cool.
I don't think she listened to the whole time, but she brought up a good point. She's like, hey, if you're gonna keep doing this with Dustin, you should probably get a microphone and
Yeah.
not have like these dinosaur headphones with a wire hanging off of them.
Yeah. I mean, the thing I notice, because I'm big on audio, obviously,
Yeah.
like when I mix the videos down, when I cut them like in post and stuff, your
Yeah.
mic is a little bit different because you're using like the room mic on your computer.
Yeah. I don't even know where the microphone is, but
Yeah.
I'll have to just get something
I mean,
decent.
I can hear you. The thing is, it sounds better quality because I'm talking into like an actual microphone, but these mics are pretty cheap. Like you can get a nice one for reasonable price if you don't have one laying around. Even just honestly, I see people all the time just using like a 57 mic through an interface 2 or something. If you have just regular mics laying around, like a Radio Shack mic you could plug in or whatever. But
I don't think I have anything, so I'll pick up whatever you recommend.
yeah, for now we're fine. But
Yeah.
yeah, if you, I mean, I think long term, it's going to make the quality of your voice better, you know?
Yeah.
So.
Well, anything that'll make me sound better and more manly and all that, I'll take it.
I mean, it's important, right? You know,
Hey,
speaking
it's
of,
funny. This doesn't have to do with audio, but just my voice. I don't know how many times I've gotten on an interview, and the first thing they say is like, "Are you from way up north? Because you sound really northern."
yeah, because you got the accent. You
Yeah,
have
yeah,
the Wisconsin, Minnesota accent.
yeah.
I mean, it's funny because everyone has an accent. Like Utah has a very specific accent, and I didn't notice it as much until I left Utah. But it's kind of a combination of like the northern accent and like a little bit of like West Coast, maybe. But like
Okay.
I just assume that everyone I talk to hears this when I talk. Yeah, dude, what's up? Yeah, bro. Where? Yeah. I mean, that's my accent. I got the California.
You do have a little bit of a California thing, but it's not like super noticeable.
Right. Yeah, I'm obviously exaggerating, but you know,
Yeah.
it's we're all a product of the environment. That it's funny because my cousin was a LDS missionary for the Mormon church, and he's not an active Mormon anymore, but he went to Nashville on his mission, and he came back with a southern drawl. It
With a
was
draw.
funny.
That is
Yeah.
hilarious.
He had a southern drawl just because he was in Nashville, you know, for 2 years.
Yeah, I got a cousin that lives down by Nashville too, and I mean he's been there for a long time, but I mean he's got a drawl thicker than the Southerners now. I mean, it's insane.
Well, on the subject of Nashville, that's our guest today, from
Yeah,
Saliva. They're
looking
they're a
forward to that.
Nashville band. Did you listen to that new song that they put out? The newest one, the 2023 one?
I did, but then I discovered the one that they released last fall, "High on Me," and I listened to that one a couple times. I really like that song a lot.
Yeah, this one, Come Back Stronger. It's
Yeah,
pretty heavy. I was pretty impressed. I was like,
yeah,
it makes sense that they're touring with Drowning Pool. Those bands, they have a similar kind of vibe to them.
yep, yep.
And I've been going back through Nonpoint's discography too, because they're on tomorrow. And man, I love that band. Their first 3 records are just so good: Statement and Development and Recoil. And
Well, they're
then,
so good live too.
oh yeah, I love his voice too. Like he has such a unique, like he's got some of the hip hop but style to him, but he's still got like a really hard edge voice and like a good
Mhm.
melodic singing voice.
Awesome.
So on that note, let's start with some news stuff. I read today that Creed is getting back together.
Well,
Um,
I don't follow Creed on social media, but I follow like Tremonti and stuff like
uh-huh.
that. And I saw they were like teasing a Creed thing last week, and I'm like, okay, what is this going to be, a big comeback tour or what? But
Uh-huh.
looks like it's just a
A
one cruise,
cruise.
huh?
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I saw. I was like, oh, are they doing like an album and stuff? No, they're just doing a cruise together.
Yeah.
But this article says, let's see, Creed's enormous success largely due to the prolific writing team of singer Scott Stapp and guitarist Mark Tremonti, who founded the band together in 1993. Their winning combination of driving guitar riffs, rousing hooks, and introspective lyrics earned them legions of loyal fans around the world. But it doesn't say that they're going to tour or anything.
Yeah, it looked like it was just a cruise.
So this past March, Tremonti spoke about the possibility of a Creed reunion in an interview with Rock 105. It's just a matter of timing for everybody. Everybody's juggling so many projects. We would just have to find a window where it made sense. So yeah, I guess that's,
If they were doing a tour, I'd probably try to make it.
yeah, but you're not going to go on a cruise.
I'm not going on a cruise.
Those cruises honestly look kind of fun. I've heard good things about them, like those metal ones.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I mean,
Well, something with, maybe more newer metal bands or more metal bands I'd be interested in. But like this one, I never got into a lot of these 90s bands. I mean, I'm familiar with their hits and stuff, but
yeah, I know
don't
what you
know.
mean. So on another note, Alice Cooper put out a new song today.
I listened to that.
I didn't listen to it yet, but
Oh, you didn't?
obviously was it good?
Yeah, I like it.
Obviously, Alice is like a huge, oh God. Alice is a huge, like we obviously got our name from the Brutal Planet album.
Yeah.
White. So I just saw that the title was White Line Frankenstein. And you've heard that song, Feed My Frankenstein, right? Have you heard that?
I think so. I've never been big into Alice Cooper. I never really checked him out until I got to know Eric, and he was a huge fan. So
I got you. Yeah, I'm not a huge Alice Cooper guy myself. But I mean, I can't say that I'm not a big fan. Like I grew up during the Poison, like the era where he did like in the 80s. And but this particular like White Line, the reason I brought up Feed My Frankenstein is that was a big spinoff of the Wayne's World movies. And so I wonder if this is like a throwback to that. But we can play. So I
don't know enough about it to tell you. When I saw White Line, I thought the song was going to be about cocaine or something.
Oh, that's what I thought too, but I wasn't sure with the.
But I mean, he's basically singing about like life on the road as a rock star.
Let's listen to. So legally on stream, we can play 6-second increments of a song. I did this the other day without getting a copyright strike. And a lot of times if they copyright strike you, most artists will like let you use clips of their song. You just like, sometimes you can't monetize it, but let's
Vince, if you hear this, we're promoting your stuff. Okay.
Yeah, totally. Let's hear, hold on a sec. I always do this thing too, where I forget to tick the box that like shares the sound. So then people on stream are like, what? I can't hear this. All right. So let's listen to like 6 seconds of this.
I feel a little bit dead, but tonight I'm alive.
Okay. It's hard.
I don't know enough of his stuff to say this isn't the norm, but this had a very Rob Zombie kind of groove to it. And it I thought it was pretty good.
That's awesome. Let's see what he says. White Line Frankenstein's a monster we created. It's a truck driver who's been out there a long time. He's the king of the road. He doesn't live in a house. He lives in that. So it's not about cocaine. White Line Frankenstein's about the lines on the road, I guess. Some of those are yellow, Alice. Come on. In the song, this surreal tough guy is driving on white lines for his whole life. So White Line Frankenstein would be his CB handle. It's monstrous and definitely. I think there's a definite drug innuendo there too, but hey,
probably. Did you notice Tom Morello's in this?
I just saw that. That's really cool. Leading into a trademark Tom Morello guitar solo. Lyric video by Simon Ward. I was curious when you said it sounds kind of like Rob Zombie. I was curious who produced it. Bob Ezrin. Okay, wow. background vocals, Bob Ezrin. So it's probably produced by Ezrin, I would guess.
Yeah, you should definitely listen to the whole thing afterwards,
I'll
because
have
it's a good song, and I'm not a huge Cooper fan, but this one I dig for sure.
Okay. So let's see what we're kind of flying through this stuff, but maybe we should talk a little bit more about Alice. There was a thing about in this James Hetfield bit I watched, and he was talking about how this delineation between bands like Kiss and Alice Cooper and Aerosmith and what was an AC/DC. He's like, I was more of an Aerosmith AC/DC guy because it was like the raw, just like dudes in jeans playing guitars, where the Alice Cooper Kiss was more like the glam side of things. And I thought that was an interesting delineation, just because I never really thought about it that way. But Metallica notoriously was like the kind of like the anti-glam band, in that era.
That's interesting. Yeah, now that you say that, I probably lean more towards the non-glam bands as well. I never got into Kiss or anything, and it's not really my thing.
Yeah, it's like I'm a little bit in that realm just because I grew up in the 80s. So
Well, sure. You have to be
I mean, I was born
in
in 78, so it's like I grew up listening to, like, when I was a little kid, I was listening to like Def Leppard, and you know what I mean, Bon Jovi, Winger, Striper.
Okay.
You get into Striper at all?
Nope.
To Hell with the Devil? What?
Dude, I was raised in such a conservative home. I didn't discover music till I got my driver's license, and I could pop in CDs in my car and be like, whoa.
Striper's a Christian band. That's why I was
asking. I know that, but yeah, I never really got into that. Part of it, I'm a little bit younger than you, and then part of it was just the culture I grew up in.
Sure.
So, yeah,
it's
I got
funny
in trouble.
because
My mom found a Metallica cassette in my underwear drawer when I was, I don't know, seventh grade or something.
See, that's what I was going to say too. It's funny because the more my mom and my parents tried to censor me from stuff, like keep stuff, the more I went towards it. You know what I mean? They're like,
yeah,
like they're like, oh, Dustin, you can't watch MTV. So I'm like, of course, I'm like in there every day trying to watch MTV. And then my dad would have CDs, and my dad would just let me listen to his CDs. And so my mom, what you just said reminded me of this. My mom started hiding the ones with the parental advisory sticker, like in a sock drawer, and I would like go in their room and find them. And like, just I have this clear memory of like one of them was Extreme Pornography, which if you've ever listened to that album, it's like it's so tame compared to like some of the stuff that I actually listen to.
Yeah.
But it's just like I don't know. I feel like whenever something was like taboo or like off limits, it like made it more appealing to me. So
I totally agree. I think that's human nature right there.
Yeah,
but,
yeah.
The for me,
effect.
I just like, I don't want my kids listening to garbage, but I'm like, I don't want to tell them, no, you can't do this, or no, you can't do that. I want to teach them how to think.
Yeah.
And with that, like, I mean, at this stage of their life, I want them to reflect my values, my beliefs while they're young and living in my house. But I don't want to be that parent that says, no, you can't do this. It's like,
right.
Okay, well, why do you want to listen to that? We don't use vulgar language in our home. Why would you want to fill your ears with that? And I'm not a prude. It's not like I listen to music that doesn't have anything in it, but if it's overboard, like, it's just not my thing, so.
Yeah. Well, the thing with kids too, and I mean, I let my kids pretty much do as they please. They both work jobs. They both have jobs, and like,
well, your kids are older too.
Yeah. So it's a little bit different, but still, it's kind of like, I would never be like, even when they were younger, I wasn't that careful about, because I feel like the more that you impose stuff like that, the more they're going to push back on it. Mm-hmm. So it's almost like you kind of have to like just let them do their thing. And then to your point, it's like, if my daughter is listening to a song with a bunch of like, a rap song with a bunch of like, sexual innuendo and stuff in it, I'm going to be like, hey, you know what this means? Do you know like why they're saying this?
Right.
Do you understand this? And like what it means and stuff? Because it's fun, because my daughter does listen to rap. So she's way out there with that stuff, but she's also a straight A student and works a job. So I'm kind of like,
Yeah.
I'm not going to tell you what you can and can't listen to. There's nothing that frustrated me more when I was a kid
for
than my
sure.
mom trying to do that to me. I'm like, I'll listen to whatever I want.
Right.
You're going to tell me what.
No, I totally get that. And that's why I don't think that style works. But,
Yeah.
if I can invite my children into my own morals and values and they agree with that, then it's like, well, then let's talk about this together, so.
Yeah. The other thing is, as parents, it's like, we're older, man. Like we don't relate to the same things probably that our kids do all the time. And we grew up in a different environment, in a different world. And so that's the other side of it, where it's like, there's a lot of like music that my kids listen to I think is terrible. Well, my son listens to a lot of classic metal, so he's good, but like my daughter listens to a lot of pop and stuff where I'm like, I don't know about that. But
have a sit down chat with her.
It's not even that. It's like, I just don't relate to some of it. First of all, because I'm not a woman. Second of all, because I'm not, it's not my generation stuff. And I had this conversation with some older people. It was funny. I remember being at this dinner one time with some clients, and they were going off about like how the next generation is like, the younger generation is so like terrible and stuff. And I was like, I bet your parents said a lot of the same stuff about you guys.
It's the same every generation.
And it was so funny. They kind of like glossed over. They're like, yeah, they kind of did. Like they did think we were crazy when we were kids too.
Well, think of even music. Like when our grandparents were young, Elvis was like the Marilyn Manson of his time.
Yeah, I know. That's so crazy. He's like, oh my God, they showed him moving his hips.
Yeah.
Oh, we've come a long way, baby. Or maybe not. I don't
well,
know.
And the thing too, just bringing it back a little bit to like Alice Cooper, I've seen interviews of him. He's super decent guy. He even shares the same faith as me, and then you got the stage persona, which is just an act, and there again, that could be a topic too, is like, where does the stage persona and the real person overlap or whatever? But when someone's acting, they're a different person,
it's art, man. Like the stuff nothing frustrates me more than what's going on with Roger Waters. Like I don't know if you've seen what's happening with him, but people are accusing him of being like an anti-Semite and a Nazi because he does a rendition of a song from The Wall where he dresses like a mock fascist, and the whole point of the song is like, hey, look, this could be happening to you. Like it's to draw awareness, it's
to make you think.
Exactly. And I got to this point where like on Twitter, because that's my thing. Like I like to argue with people on Twitter. It's my entertainment.
That is so not me, Dustin. So go ahead.
Some people like to watch Netflix. I like to argue on Twitter. But we had this conversation about Roger Waters, and I said, okay, next up on the agenda, we need to put Keanu Reeves in jail for all the people he killed in the John Wick movies.
Yeah,
like that's how stupid this premise is. You have to separate the artist from the art. Roger Waters is telling a story. Alice Cooper, Marilyn Manson, all these artists, Slayer even, they're telling a story. Just because they're telling a story about something horrendous or evil, or it has characters or bad elements, doesn't mean it's them personally. It's like,
well, even Marilyn Manson, I mean, I've seen interviews with him, and the guy's brilliant.
Yeah,
he doesn't even use vulgar language in his regular speech. It's all a stage persona,
Sure. And I mean, Marilyn Manson draws a lot from people like Howard Stern. He's a shock rocker. He's a shock, like Howard Stern is a shock jock. He says and does things to create controversy.
Yep.
To get
and
attention.
Conversation, really.
Yeah, of course. That's what America's all about. Like that's what freaks me out right now that's going on in politics is all the people, the liberals, the people on the quote unquote left who used to laugh at Christian right wingers for trying to censor everything are now the people that want to censor everything. They're like, oh, that's right wing, we need to censor it. And it's
that's why I said like both extremes are just extreme. Like I don't even listen to the extremes.
Yeah, I mean, I don't even know that I don't even think that, to be honest, that left and right matter in politics anymore, because like the people that run the country right now are definitely not left. They're like starting wars, they're censoring things, and but that aside, to your point, it's like, but I think with me, it's just like nothing changed for me, but it's like the people around me change. You know what I mean? I feel like the
Mhm.
rest of the world was moved to this weird position where I'm like, whoa, I've always been the same. I've been in the same place the whole time.
Yeah.
Anyway,
My dad thinks that what do you say, like 30 miles or 50 miles from each coast should just fall off into the ocean, and then the
yeah.
country would be fine.
Yeah, I mean, see, but that's the other side of that is the people on the coasts who call Middle America the flyover states.
Exactly. Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, and it's like just because you don't live there or you don't, it's not your lifestyle
Well,
doesn't mean
it's
it's
because
not
we don't
valid.
understand each other, and
Yeah.
if we just took the time to understand the
Well,
culture.
here's the crazy part. It's not even that. I think that these type of divides are intentionally fostered. You know what I mean? Like they
Mm,
want us to fight with each other about like left and right or like liberal conservative crap when it's like with the not to go too far down this road, but when the last election cycle happened, like one of my cousins, like I'm a California person. Like I'm pretty like I would call myself libertarian. I'm like live and let live. Like do you, as long as it's not affecting me, I don't care. Like live your life, you know.
mhm.
But my cousin's husband, he's very much like the MAGA guy, the Trump guy. And he and we always have these like debates at family dinners type thing. And it was I'll never forget this because this guy, he is the absolute best human being. You know, he's a good, he's not a church going guy. His wife goes to church, but he's a good like blue collar guy. He works his ass off to take care of his kids. He's always doing volunteer work for the church and my mom and stuff, even though he's not religious himself. And I just realized in the last like political cycle that I was being trained to hate this guy. Like
Mhm.
he's a terrible person because he likes Trump. Like he's
Mhm.
a Nazi or something. I'm like, no, not at all.
Right.
And that's the dumbest thing. Like I don't like it when people do that to me, you know, and flip it around and say like, oh, you're a
Right.
liberal Satanist who supports, baby killers and all this stuff. It's like, no, it's much more complicated than that,
Right.
you know.
Yeah.
And now we're just doing it to each other, and it's like, nah, we have a lot more in common than divides us. Like when you really get down to the nitty gritty. So
Well, and that's why I love going to live shows and stuff too, because like people put all that political stuff aside, and they just come to watch a band together, and it's like
yeah,
these people would never come together otherwise. But now we're just sitting here enjoying live music, and I just love that.
it's so great. It's a collective, that collective energy. Like I think in one of our streams last week, we talked about with Metallica, there's this thing where Kirk was talking about the energy you get from going to a show, like the collective energy that comes together from that you do not get that from other places. But when
Mhm.
everyone's together and that vibe, that like a positive vibe of a song, like lifting everyone up, like there's something so energizing and so like valuable with that. Like you were saying, it's like just that level of connectivity and togetherness and community.
Well,
It's
and
important.
another point is when you do that, I think everyone kind of, I mean, for the most part, but everyone kind of focuses in on one thing. Whereas like the rest of our lives, we're getting pulled in every direction from
Totally.
social media and responsibilities and hobby, whatever. I mean,
Yeah.
when
Who
we're
you
when
vote
we can,
for
yeah,
president should
yep,
not define you.
no, who cares?
Yeah. Anyway, we got another 30 minutes. So let's talk about
By the
this.
way, I just want to let you know
Go
again,
ahead.
my wife is gone today, so I have 4 kids here alone. I got them playing their tablets right now, but if I get interrupted, I
Oh,
apologize.
you're good, man. Don't even sweat it. Just put your thing on blank for a minute and go do your
Yeah.
thing. I know how it is. What's the age range of your kids currently?
12, 11, 10, and 7.
Oh wow, yeah. So you're in the thick of it, man.
Yeah.
I my one of my good friends who's my age, he's actually a little older than me. And he just had a baby. His he didn't have it obviously, but like his wife just had a baby, and I'm just like, bro, that's the last thing I want right now. Like I'm having my second like bachelorhood now. Like I'm divorced, my kids are almost grown up and out to college. Like I'm enjoying life right now, you know.
Yeah, my wife is 6 months older than me, so she just turned 40 a couple months ago, and I keep teasing her that I'm going to squeeze one more kid in there, but she's like, absolutely not.
My sister, yeah, I have 3 nieces, and my sister's pregnant again, and it's like same thing. I think they're really trying for a boy. Her
Mhm.
husband wants a boy. I mean, I don't think he cares either way. He loves his daughters, right? But
Yeah.
my sister's like, we're trying. When you talk about squeeze another one in there, I'm like, man, I don't know how you do it. It's
I
a
don't,
lot
we've
of
just been in the thick of it for so long. It's like, would one more really matter? I don't know.
yeah,
When
yeah.
we went from 2 kids to 3 kids, that was a huge jump because now we're outnumbered and all that. But 3 to 4 was nothing. It was just like, okay,
I've
whatever.
never heard it that way. We're outnumbered. I'm the oldest of 4 kids.
Okay.
And my dad, like, we kind of raised ourselves. Like, my dad was on the road most of the time. My mom was always at work trying to feed us,
Was your
so
dad a white line Frankenstein?
definitely not.
Okay.
He's more of a white pill pro wrestling stein.
Oh, was he a wrestler?
He was a
Oh,
pro
that's
wrestler.
awesome.
Which is interesting. I was reading the liner notes on Saliva, and they've done a lot of stuff with WWE.
Yeah.
Years.
So did you follow in your father's footsteps?
Absolutely not.
No.
I played football. Actually, I have a state championship ring.
Nice.
From football. I was a right defensive tackle, and then I sometimes filled in as guard on the offensive line, like when there was
Okay.
pull play, because I was like one of the big guys who was pretty agile. But yeah, I have people would always ask me when I was a kid, are you gonna grow up and be like your dad? I was like, fuck no, I hate wrestling. I don't hate it now. Like
Well, my dad was a mechanic and he's like super good with tools and stuff. Well, you heard me talking to CJ yesterday. Like I'm the least handyman ever.
oh wow.
I just reach out to my neighbors or other guys I know, like, hey, can you come help me with this?
See, I'm definitely not like a mechanic by any stretch, but the one thing I have going for me is I used to love to take things apart to
Mm,
figure and put them back together to like figure out how they work. So I'm pretty good at, like, with YouTube. Like, I started doing my own brakes a few years ago and oil changes, and like I had this Honda Pilot where the window rotors busted and the
mhm.
windows like fell down into the doors. So I got on YouTube and like figured out how to take the door apart and like prop them up and stuff, like just stuff like that, where it's like, if I got to
Yeah.
do it.
Well, my wife's kind of like that. Like if she has the drive to do something, she'll figure it out and she'll do it really well. I
That's
don't even
awesome.
have the drive. I'm just like, I'm good at talking to people and networking. I'm just gonna ask someone to come over and help me with it.
Hey,
You gotta use your gifts.
yeah, use what you got, man. I totally
Yeah.
respect it. Work smarter, not harder.
Heck yeah. I don't get my hands greasy.
My dad used to always say, because he's a guitar player too. He could work on cars, but later in life, he's like, I'm not going to work on my car. I got to protect my fingers. It's like, shut up. You're not Eddie Van Halen, dude.
It's called bar chords, Dad. Like you just gotta slide them.
That was so funny what CJ was saying yesterday about the Stained guitarist. He's like, yeah, that dude like has like 20 different tunings so he can play all his songs with one finger.
Oh, it's funny.
I 1000% meant what I said when I told him he should start a guitar mod YouTube channel. That would be,
when you said that, I'm like, we should get him doing that one time on Brutal.
totally like official launch party or something.
Yeah.
I'm like, I kind of feel somewhat responsible for this idea. Like, I'm not trying to
Yeah.
like take credit or anything, but like, at least give us like a shout out when you launch it,
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, I had fun yesterday. He was so cool.
Yeah, he was very, very cool guy. And it was kind of like, I always like, I never want to force people to be on camera, like if they don't want to be, so it took him a minute to come on camera too, but
yeah, but I'm glad he did though, because
it
just makes it more personable. And because I've done the on phone interviews and it isn't
it's not the same.
Yeah.
I wish, like with Janet, I did with one with Janet Gardner from Vixen a couple weeks ago, and her publicist was like, "Yo, like she doesn't want to be on camera and stuff." I'm like, I totally understand, especially if you're a woman, it's a different standard. Like you got to put makeup on, you got to look good. On like my bald, cancer looking ass can jump on.
Well, if you and I are both interviewing someone, we're gonna make them look good anyway.
We're gonna make them look good. Yeah, we're definitely not the most handsome eye candy dudes. So hey, at least we're self-aware enough to realize that.
Yeah, I rock the dad bod. I'm not ashamed.
Loud and proud. Loud and
Yeah,
proud.
yeah.
Speaking of loud and proud, let me show you. I don't know if I ever showed you this or ever talked about it, but I have this channel that I watch all the time called Hate56.
Oh yeah, you sent me the links. I didn't really watch it much, but I kind of scrolled through a little bit.
Yeah, here. Let me cue one of these up first. This, have you ever heard this band Vane FM?
I've heard of them, but I didn't hear them until you just sent that over.
Yeah, that's a band. There's a couple bands that I like of the new crop of like of metal bands, and one of them is have you ever heard of Code Orange?
Yeah, I've seen them
You
a
seen them
couple
live?
times. I've seen them live twice. Yeah.
Are they good live?
Yeah, the first time I saw them, they opened up for, oh shoot, who was it? Hatebreed maybe. And then the
Okay.
second time they played at the Target Center here, so big arena right before Corn, and that was really well done. They put on a really
Awesome.
good show there.
So this is them on Hate Fight. So Hate56, I'm gonna just like shout out this channel because they have. I got into it because I was looking for some live Modern Life is War videos, and they have some of those, but they just have like, I don't know who films their stuff, if it's all them or they just like take submissions or what, but they just have, their channel is just full of like live videos from
Well, it was like different angles and stuff. I was impressed.
yeah, it's like really well shot. Like, let's watch a little bit of this. This one's Vane FM, like just to give you an idea. This is in Philly last year. I love the Pit Kids. Oh, this is the hardcore festival too. So I like these bands, like they, have you ever heard of Knocked Loose?
Mhm.
Yeah, I don't love that vocal style. Like I actually kind of dig Vane FM stuff because they seem like they have a little bit more dynamics, I guess, to what they're doing.
Well, I love that song I've never heard that song, but when it started out, the drum was just, ding. I love that.
Yeah. But then his vocals remind me of that. Like, it's kind of like the higher pitched, like hardcore that the Knocked Loose guy does.
Mhm.
So this other video, I watched this Sunday morning. It's Hatebreed. And
Yeah, I watched a little bit of this.
it's so good. But one of the things I thought was interesting when I talked to Kenny the other day from Typo Negative, did you know Josta's like a manager?
Oh yeah, he does everything, dude. That guy's brilliant.
Yeah, I like, what a G. He was telling Kenny was saying that Josta has Kurt Winstein from Crowbar like
Mhm.
on all these tours. He's like, Josta's his manager. He's like, Kirk's like 52. He did like 4 tours last year, I'm like,
Oh yeah, Josh is doing like clothing stuff. He's doing, well, he did all that stuff with
he's got a
Dee Snider-
podcast.
Dee Snider and stuff, and like the guy's brilliant.
I love it. Let's watch a little bit of this. This is Hatebreed. So also real quick, the name Hate56 is a play on the Jersey area code 856, which is right next to Philly.
Oh, okay.
The thing I love about these shows is the crowd. They just like are always on stage, like taking the mic. You see like the same 5 guys crowd surfing every time. So let's find there's a couple spots where
There's nothing
oh,
more
God.
powerful than
You know what I love about
I need to pay
Hatebreed?
for the YouTube premium.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I feel like Hatebreed is one of those bands, like, I don't think they've ever headlined an arena or something, but they've been support in like these big venues. But like then you watch stuff like this and it's like they never forgot their roots. You know what I mean?
Totally.
Like they're so bro getting in there. with
hardcore is like one of my favorite genres. Like I mean, I don't even know, like it's kind of punk, kind of metal, but like these types of shows like that, this is the environment that I really came up in when I finally like moved out on my own. Like when I first moved to LA, there was a huge underground hardcore scene and there was a lot of East Coast bands that would come. And the way I even heard Hatebreed is through Candiria. Candiria has like they have like kind of a little bit of a hip hop aesthetic, and they have like guest vocalists on songs, like in the same way that rappers will have like guest verses or whatever. And they have a song called what's the song? It's like it's on Process of Self-Development, but at the end of the song, there's like 5 different hardcore guys that come in and do verses, and Joss does one of them. And that's how the first time I heard Hatebreed was on that Candiria track. Who's this
last
guy?
time I saw them, they opened for Megadeth, and that one wasn't that wild because it was a lot of older metal guys there. But like that show I told you yesterday that I saw in Jersey, that was kind of like this. You know, it was just chaos, and it was awesome. I'm at the age now where I'm just like, I'm standing off to the side. I'm not up in the pit.
Yeah, I understand. I
got bad knees.
Yeah, it's funny. I'll try to get in the pit if I can still. I'll try to like still stop. Like when we went to Norma Jean I took my son and a bunch of his friends to see Norma. It was Norma Jean and this band called Emery. Have you ever heard them? They're like a kind of an emo. And then Aaron Gillespie played like acoustic, which was really cool just by himself.
He's a great musician.
He's amazing. Under Oath is killer. But yeah, Norma Jean just destroyed. And I was like in the pit the whole time.
Right. Do you take your shirt off and everything too?
No, I'm not that crazy.
I see those guys. They're like 300 pounds. They take off their shirt and just like, I'm like, dude, don't touch me.
I'm in pretty good shape. Like but like I just, it's funny when you're talking about like your knees hurting and stuff, man. I just recently changed my diet because I have like high blood pressure problems and stuff. And I cut like sugar heavily out of my diet. Like I'll still eat a cookie here and there, but I like stopped eating like anything with sugar in it, like bread and sugar. And it's like changed my life. Like I used to like wake up with like joint pain and stuff.
Oh,
and
yeah.
it's gone. Like now that I don't consume sugar, like
I did the keto diet a few years ago and I lost 45 pounds. And I felt great. And then, COVID hit and I just threw it all out the window and ate myself through COVID. So,
well, you don't realize too that like how much sugar we're eating. It's
even if you're not eating sweets.
Yeah, it's in everything. And your bread turns into sugar when you eat it. Alcohol turns into sugar when you drink it. So it's like we're almost like on a, like as Americans, like our diet is almost like predestined like for diabetes. It's like you gotta like really check it. Like I'm like preaching to my poor kids. I'm like, you guys be careful about fast food, okay? Like moderation.
Yeah. So you let them listen to anything, but you moderate what they eat.
You guys, you can listen to Satan Death Kill records, but no McDonald's.
Don't eat McDonald's, yeah.
No Happy Meals. But for real, when they were little kids, I remember I remember the point, like they were like they were skinny, normal kids, and then we started feeding them fast food and stuff, and they just went conk, and now they're kind of on their own and they make their own choices, and they've slimmed out and they're in good health and stuff. But it's just like it's frustrating how we don't think about it. My brother and I were both athletes. My brother was a championship wrestler. I was a championship football player not championship, but like we were high school athletes.
Sure. Yeah.
So we were laughing about how when we were in school, both of our parents worked, and my mom would just buy a an industrial sized box of Hot Pockets from Costco and throw those in the freezer. And
Yep.
my brother and I would go like, slug it out at football practice for 4 hours and come home dehydrated and eat 7 Hot Pockets.
Yeah.
It's like, that's the worst
Well,
possible.
I remember, yeah, I'd eat a whole frozen pizza myself, or 2 boxes of Kraft mac and cheese.
Right.
And,
It's like for me too. I was always like, well, I exercise, so it's not a big deal. It's like I run pretty frequently, like a couple times a week or whatever, so I can eat what I want. It's like, no, like it caught up with me.
Oh yeah. And then when you get to be our age, it's harder to get rid of it then too. The metabolism slows down. And
but the worst part about our system too is, rather than, if you go to a doctor, rather than them going, oh, you should start exercising and maybe eat some salads, they'll go, here's a pill called Ozempic you can take to stop being to stop being obese. And it's like, dude, we always want the shortcut. It's like,
well, all our food, medication, everything, I mean, just follow the money.
Yeah, it's like a treadmill. It's so terrible. It's like I could go on for hours about this. I saw this guy who was a former like marketing guy for Coca-Cola, and he's like, yo, these companies know what they're doing. Like, they know that they're poisoning you, and then they can sell you cures on the back end. So
yeah, someone brought up years ago, I don't know if a country is actually doing this or if they just came up with the idea or whatever, but like, we should actually pay doctors to keep us healthy. Reverse the system.
Well, so this is anecdotal, but a couple years ago, I used to have this doctor, and he was an old school doctor. He was like, his name was Dr. Mahurin, and he was like the kind of doctor who still wore like a white coat, and he smoked cigars. He had like cigar stained mustache. And I'll never forget, one day I was sitting in his waiting room, and this was like when my kids were babies. It was like probably 15 years ago at this point. And I'm sitting in his waiting room, and this woman, very pretty woman with a little suitcase with wheels on it, walks in, pharmaceutical rep. She goes, to the doctor, the doctor lets her in, whatever. And I hear them talking on the other side of the wall. And the doctor's literally like, yo, he's like, he didn't say yo because he's an old man, but he's like, I'm not going to prescribe this drug just because you want me to. He's like, I'm only going to
just because you're pretty.
Yeah, it was like you could hear her trying to get him to like help her sell this drug more, like push this drug to your patients. And he's like, no, I'm not going to do that. And now he's dead. And I'm sure that the people who, come up in the ranks to replace him, a lot of them live in that world. We're like, okay, yeah, give me a kickback.
Well, just even with this knee surgery I had, they gave me meds for the pain, and then they had to give me meds for the side effects for the meds that I'm taking for the pain. And it's just like, when does this end?
Yeah, exactly.
And I'm not ripping on it. I'm glad I had pain meds and all that.
Yeah,
but I'm just
of course.
Oh my gosh, you got to take 4 pills for your pain,
and this is not to say that the pharmaceutical companies don't do good, and that they're like, American health system doesn't have good outcomes sometimes too. It's just that like our overall mindset is always focused to, like you said, to money, where it's like, instead of like, how do I get this person better and like make sure they're healthy and
so happy. Food too, it's just like they market all this healthy stuff that's not actually healthy.
That's the most frustrating part, is it's like people who think they're eating like fat free, they just up the sodium, or like sodium free, they up and then the other side of it is, I got into it with a friend of mine a few years ago about like fat, because I'm like, fat on your body is cellulite. That's different than like fat content in food. Fat content in food is actually, in most cases, pretty good for you. Like, you need fat content in your food, But
well, and I'm not all into health or whatever, but I know just from even doing keto, it's like once you cut the sugar out, the fat is actually what gives you the energy. So it all depends on what kind of lifestyle you want to do, or what kind of diet you want to have and stuff. But
well, and you don't get results unless you make changes like that. For me, it's like I said, I've been exercising and lifting weights and running for years, and on a regular basis. And it wasn't until I changed my diet, like to your point, and like was like, oh, I'm going to take some sugar out, I'm going to try to like eat a little differently, that I actually started getting over a hump that I'd never been. Like, I started having better results again. I like I lost more weight. you know, my muscles got more defined and
Yep.
I was sleeping better and, you know, less like body aches and pains and all that kind of stuff. So
You just got to figure out something to do for, you know, this part of your body.
yeah.
I'm just teasing you.
Well, you know, there's only so much you can do. I've been working on my teeth and, you know,
I'm really getting gray the last couple of years here, but
so that's another thing that I watched this doctor on YouTube and he just had a thing about that where he was saying, you know, obviously they're part of it's aging, like as you get older, this is going to happen. But a lot of people prematurely age because of a lack of copper in their diet. Yeah. And he was saying stuff foods you should consider eating more of are like mushrooms, I guess, have copper content. But he was also saying like you don't just want to take copper supplements because it works in conjunction with other minerals like zinc and stuff. So you want to eat these like kind of food. Beef liver was something he recommended. And his was more geared towards women whose hair were graying, but I'm sure it applies to.
Well, I don't really care. I'm just surprised at how much gray I'm getting at 39 years old. But
yeah, I mean, mine really kicked up in my beard like the last couple of years, but I started seeing patches of it when in my late 30s.
Yeah.
So, well, we got Homeboy should be on any minute now.
Well, the other thing you shared with me was that proposal.
Yeah, do we want to watch that, the Nita Strauss one?
I watched it. I mean, if you want to show it for the,
should we pull it up? So Nita Strauss. Oh, actually, let's skip that. Let's do this Better Lovers band real quick. So Better Lovers is this band, and it's basically like a couple of the members of Every Time I Die with Greg Puciato of Dillinger Escape Plan on vocals. And it looks like, so here's the thing. It looks really like what I've heard that they released that EP that has like 3 or 4 songs and they're pretty good, but it's like, I want to hear something that's like drastically different sounding than Dillinger, you know, and maybe I'm just not paying close enough attention yet. And maybe I'm just biased, but here, let's play.
No, I get that.
It sounds a lot like pretty similar to Dillinger. So here's a little bit of a live show they did in Buffalo. What was it, like a couple days ago? Greg's rocking the Def Leppard t-shirt. See, like this right here sounds a lot like the Dillinger stuff. That's cool. Slow down. I do gotta say, I love their guitar sound live. It sounds big and crunchy.
So are they just trying to make a super group or something, or what?
That's perfect. I think Every Time I Die just split, right? And so the guys from that band were just like, hey, let's do something real. Greg is in like 17 different bands. He's like trying to do the Mike Patton thing, I think, to some degree. But good on him. I mean, they sound. This is like one of their first shows. They sound like.
What song is that?
What's that?
Which song is that?
I don't even know. He says at the beginning of this, they're gonna play some songs that aren't on the demo, so it might not be on the demo. That riff sounds familiar though, maybe just because I watched this before.
You know,
Greg is in not only this band, but he's also in what's that band with Max and dude from Mastodon, Killer Be Killed.
oh,
That's great stuff. Like they got a couple really killer songs. That first record too, I actually know the drummer is this guy Dave Elich, who I go way back with. I don't think he even plays. He played with Mars Volta for a minute. Do you know Mars Volta at all?
mm-mm.
So when we did our 2000s kind of countdown the other day, one of the albums that was on my list that got pushed down is At the Drive-In, Relationship of Command. Do you know them at all?
Mm-mm. I mean,
So
I've heard the name, but
they have some, like, that record specifically is like, it's so badass. It's like from a guitar perspective specifically, like the way that the two guitars work together, and it's like really high energy, and they're just doing these like odd chords and stuff like that, but it's like really like heavy, like high energy music. So basically they're one of the last bands like that Ross Robinson produced, and he kind of like, you know, he obviously started with Korn and then Slipknot, and then he also did Glassjaw, and that I think he did Amen as well, which is that's probably why they brought Larkin in to do the drumming on Worship and Tribute, because he knew Ross Robinson from. You guys out of here? All right, we'll see you in a few. We'll see you Friday if I don't see you before then.
yeah, this show here that, you know, you just played a clip of, I just remember going to shows like that size before, back in the day, and like as a concert attendee, those are the best shows. It's like intimate, it's heavy, but then now like doing concert photography and stuff, I hate that stuff.
Really? Yeah.
Well, you can't get close to the stage without getting your head bashed in by someone.
Yeah.
You know?
It's also hard because like when if we have photo passes at these shows, like those kind of shows, I'm like, those indie shows, I'm like trying to like scope around and like find a place where I can get in to like get a good shot of the band without like seeming like a dick, you know, where it's like, because there's a bunch of people like crowded at the front of the stage that have been waiting there. I'm like, oh, I'm just gonna like scoot in here and like get a picture. Whereas like in the bigger shows, you have the photo
right
realm thing, you know. So
yeah, because I was supposed to see Soulfly here a few months ago, and like I love Soulfly, but they were gonna play at this tiny little club. It's like 300 people, and there's no photo pit or nothing. There's no good place to stand, and I was kind of dreading it. And I ended up, my appendix went bad, and I had to go in for surgery that night anyway, so I missed it. But it was just like, man, I'm looking forward to the show so much, but not at that venue.
yeah, I know how that goes. I mean, honestly, too, I'm just like now, especially after COVID, I feel like I'm just like happy to get out to a show.
Oh, heck yeah.
Period. I'm just like, anywhere is good.
It's just when you have a photo pass, you know, you want to get good photos for the band, for the publicist, and
yeah,
you know, when they're at the kind of venues, you're like, I have no idea what I'm going to get here.
Yeah. Well, and man, there's all due respect to you and Eric and like anyone that can take good concert photos, because it's a talent on its own. Like taking photos in these dark rooms with like no light sources and like all that kind of stuff. It's like
a whole nother animal.
It's complicated.
Well, it's dark, and then you got moving subjects all the time too, and you don't know where's the best place to stand.
Yeah,
lights are going. And then you got people flying down on you from behind, and
That's what we get for doing
But dude,
hardcore
it's all
shows.
worth it when you get a couple of them amazing shots at a show. It's like, I don't care if I got kicked in the back of the head.
Oh man, I've been hit. I got hit so hard in the face at a VOD show. I thought I busted my nose. Like it was the craziest thing too, because I thought the dude did it on purpose, and I turned around and he was just throwing his legs. He socked me like it was like boom, just like
I
that.
had that once too, just a kick up, like one of these wheel kicks right to the
Ooh,
nose,
boy.
like
Yeah.
blood.
I turned around like I was ready to murder this kid, and he was like, "I'm so sorry. He like was so like had so much like remorse that I was
Well,
like,
once in a while you got the turd that's in the circle pit, but usually guys are like, they're not trying to hurt you, they're
no,
just,
no. We're just I mean, a pit is a pit. Like you're gonna get like take some hits. We did ministry like a year ago, like right after COVID, 2 years ago maybe, like right when COVID ended, like in the summer, and we went to Albuquerque, and that was the funnest show. Like that was just such a fun show, and the pit was wild, and there was like this one point when I was standing there doing this, and this girl comes around and she's like, "You're gonna hurt someone," and I go, "That's the point." And like not even like 10 seconds after she said that, this dude like literally walked face first into my elbow.
oh man.
And I was just like, "I'm sorry, bro, I'm sorry, I'm not trying to hit anybody." His nose was bleeding and shit. Like,
Have you ever seen like any violence, like, I don't know, with objects or anything?
not at a show, but when I used to play in this band called Jagged Thought Process, ironically, and I'll never forget this one night. I think it was a Saturday. It was a Friday or a Saturday night, and we were at the Coconut Teaser on the Sunset Strip, and we're like loading our gear out of the venue. So we were like loading our drums and amps and stuff out of the venue onto the Sunset Boulevard at like, like it was like 11 or 12 on a Saturday night. So we just packed with people. This car rolls up, the door opens, and this guy rolls out, and he's just soaked in blood. And there's like, I can see blood like gushing out of him.
Oh my.
And like, he's like, and his buddy's like, "What the fuck? Call 911." And they said that someone stabbed him with a broken bottle at a club up the street. I'm
Wow.
like, dude, and you guys threw him in the car and like got into traffic? What are you doing?
Wow.
But that's the most like violent, like man, that guy was, I hope he lived. He was like, he was bleeding heavily. He was covered. And that's like the most violent thing I've ever seen.
I haven't seen
I'm sure,
anything too bloody. I had someone poke me once with something. And it's not like I was bleeding bad or nothing, but someone must have had a little shank or something. They were trying to get up closer to the stage, But I think the worst thing I've seen was at that Cornerstone Festival I told you about the other day, and there was a circle pit going there, and I don't know if someone got hit or landed wrong, but their leg busted right in half, like bones sticking out, and I'm like, oh my word, that's so gross.
Well, we got Homeboy hasn't showed up yet, so I mean I thought we said 1 p.m. I just want to make sure she hasn't emailed or anything. So
Yeah, the email you sent me was 1 p.m. your time.
yeah, that's what I thought. I always do my best to make sure that I'm not like overlapping or anything. But you, like when I sent you the link, like you came in on the link I sent in that email, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So like my biggest
here we go.
concern. Oh, there he is. My biggest concern is that I sent him the wrong meeting link or something. Bobby.
Hello.
Hey man, welcome.
Can you guys hear me?
We can hear you.
Yep.
Hold on, I can't hear you though.
Uh-oh.
Hopefully we don't have that problem again.
I had that problem earlier.
Can you hear me?
I can hear
Hold on.
you.
I can hear you, Bobby. Can you hear me?
I hear you guys now.
Okay, good. Hey, thank you for taking the time today, man. We really appreciate it.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm like I think 5 minutes here.
Oh, you're fine. You're fine. I was worried that we were just talking about, I was like, I was worried that I sent the wrong link or something. I'm like, I'm checking my email just to make sure I didn't send Shauna the wrong link or something like that. So Saliva has a very long history. You guys have been a band for a very long time. I think probably the first thing is just like walk us through where you're at now, like how you got here, what, like where you started, as far back, as deep as you want to go, man.
The band's history, I mean, it's a long long
Yeah, I mean,
long ago. I would say that they came out in 01, you know, with Every 6 Seconds. That's the record that kind of broke the band. And then I came in 2011 and have been here, just my 12th year. And it's been a lot of stuff that's happened along the journey. They're just trying to make great music and play for the fans that still support, the band, and just trying to keep everything positive.
yeah, you got to. So the new song, I was checking out the new song, "Come Back Stronger." It sounds great, man. Sounds like a heavier version than I've ever heard of anything you guys have done. Is that the direction you guys are going? Do you have plans to release a new record anytime soon, or?
Well, the record's coming out September 8th.
Okay.
And we started working on this record in 2000 in March, not 2000, sorry, 2020. And during the whole pandemic shutdown and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And Wayne and I wanted this record to be heavier. We wanted it to be different than the others. And, we felt like we made a great record, and I think the fans are going to hopefully, take notice and appreciate it as well. And Wayne's guitar work on this record was insane, next level, I thought. So
that's dope. So it's kind of almost, so it's kind of like maybe his last contribution, I guess. That's so cool. Are you guys still based in the Nashville area, or are you?
No, I live in Florida. So the band is based in Memphis. And when they started, but like nobody lived there. Wayne actually, he still lived there before we passed away, but nobody else did. I live in Jacksonville, Florida, and everyone's kind of spread out all over.
Okay. We talked a little bit to CJ yesterday from Drowning Pool, and it sounds like he was pretty pumped to get out touring with you guys. So it sounds like you guys are gearing up for a pretty big, at least a good time, man.
Yeah,
get back out on the road.
It's gonna be fun to get out on the road with those guys. I love those dudes, and getting on the road with people that you like to be around to and are wanting to have a good time. It's always positive. So
with the new record, man, are there any like specific themes that kind of run through it, or anything maybe related to some of the stuff that happened the last couple of years with the pandemic, or anything like that, or anything specific that you wanted to talk about?
Lyrically, just the songs flowed out of me, man. We'd had like 30 something songs for this record, and we narrowed it down to 12. And I got sober in 2018, and when the COVID stuff started to happen, the pandemic shut down, like we couldn't tour, and the struggles of sobriety and you're being at home and all that stuff. It just got me thinking, and I just wrote as much as I could and tried to write songs that I felt would be able to, the listener would take notice and be affected by as well and connect with. I mean, as a songwriter, I always try to write something that I think is going to connect with the audience. But it also, I don't sit down and say, I'm going to write about this. I always just start writing what I think. And a lot of times it's about my own self, my own stuff. And my addictions and things and try to overcome them. And yeah, it's crazy.
Bobby, speaking of addictions, I wanted to ask you, and I apologize if you've gotten a lot of questions about this before, but the video for High on Me, I thought that was kind of a powerful video, and I didn't know if you wanted to talk about that song
Absolutely.
at all. But that to me was, well, number one, it was brilliant because I felt like it told a story, and there was no shots of the band or anything in it. It kind of just really focused on the story, and it really struck me as something different.
That's how I wanted it to be. Because what that song is about, like, us jumping around in a room or whatever, it would not. I wanted it to have somebody. I wanted the actress, who's a friend of mine I've known since we were 15, and she struggled very hardcore with that stuff. And I told her, I said, I don't want to offend you, so you're either gonna want to do this or not, because she's been sober for like 3 years, 4 years now, and she's been several rehabs and all kind of stuff. But I was like, you're perfect for this video, because this isn't someone acting. This is someone who can actually go back and relive these moments and be able to do it. So I don't want to bring up old, dig up those old scars or whatever, but it's yours if you want it. And I thought of her immediately when I was thinking, because when I wrote the song, I even thought of it, like the first line, blonde hair, blue eyes. It's crazy how it just kind of worked out that way. But because I didn't write the song about her, I wrote the song, it's about being in a relationship with somebody that you're watching them just self-destruct. And, is it me, or is it the drugs keeping you here, but once the song was done and I started thinking about video and it being a single, I was like, I got to call Liz, because I think this would be perfect for Liz to be involved in some way, because she's a very, very pretty, woman and great and funny and awesome. And I was like, I know that you'll crush this. She'd never done anything like that,
Yeah. So when I watched that video, I mean, I just thought it was powerful, just in the way it told a story, and it kind of hit me in the feels. And I haven't even struggled with addiction myself, but I know people who have, and it reminded me too. Have you seen Jelly Roll's She video? That's another one
but I love that guy. He's awesome.
Yeah, you got to check out that video, because your video reminded me of that one too as well. It's telling this story, and it hits you really hard. It's because it's such an important issue.
Absolutely. And when it's a song like that too, like how many videos can you really do with the band fucking throwing their guitars around their necks and shit,
Right,
and they're, hey, look at me. It's not, it's like, there's gotta be a point in time where we can get back to videos that have to do with the song. But I know people are on budgets and can't, but we didn't spend a whole lot of money, man. We want to keep it simple, but I want the video to be effective. Like you said, it hit you in the feels. And that's what it's about to me, is being able to connect with someone who's watching it, understanding the song and what it means, and going, man, that person really, really looks like they're struggling, and I hope that they, overcome and find a way out. And, that was all I tried to achieve with the video, was for it to be not about the band and more about the song and the person.
Yeah, it was top notch. So your own sobriety, what do you want to share any about that journey? Like how your journey has gone?
Almost 5 years. October will be 5 years, and it's the best. I'm more proud of that than anything. Just because I think that everything, I wouldn't change the past. I wouldn't change anything, because I feel like it's all led me to where I am. But I had to go through those dark times to find myself and to get sober and to become a different person, different version of myself. And that's I started doing therapy too when I got sober. And so my therapist would say, she'd say, let's get back to 18-year-old Bobby, like that guy that wasn't really, all he did was love music, and it wasn't about drinking and all the other stuff that came with it, you know. So it's been good to say, you know, to have that sobriety. I feel a lot better. My relationships are better. I just have a whole, you know, bigger outlook on life, and, you know, for my kids and stuff too. So,
well, that was another thing I wanted to ask you about, because I'm not on TikTok, but just, you know, looking on Instagram and stuff, it looks like you do a lot of duets and stuff with your daughter.
Yeah.
And that's just so cool to see, you know, kind of a rock star singing with his daughter, and you can obviously tell that you absolutely love doing it, and it's so cool. You know, I have a daughter. I'm guessing my daughter's a little younger than yours, a couple years or something, but it's so cool to watch a dad connecting with his daughter like that, and just seeing the joy.
It's my favorite thing on the planet, dude. It really is. And just to be able to do that and, you know, show people a different side. I mean, I'm singing songs I never thought in my life I would sing, you know, as well, but it's cool because I'm teaching her too, and helping her, and teaching her how to do harmonies, and showing her songs that she'd never heard before. So she's learning songs and stuff. And I think it's awesome. We're both learning from it, but at the same time, we're having fun with it. And it's, that's been really, really cool.
Yeah. Is there any chance she's going to wind up on a Saliva album?
I don't know, man. I'd never say never, but I'm working on bigger things for her. Trying to, you know, trying to work on her own career. And she's got some good things brewing. We're going to be in LA next month. She's going to be working with, you know, producer out there, big producer, and, you know, working on some stuff for her for an EP. So we're stoked. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So we'll see what's to come, you know, more to come with her for sure. And she's got her whole life ahead of her. So it's like, I don't want to rush it or whatever. I just want to have fun but her to get the experience in as well.
Yeah. Well, she looks like she's what, 13, 14, something like that.
She just turned 12. So most of those
12.
Last week.
Wow.
Yeah, she was 11, man, doing all this stuff.
Well, she seems very mature, just the way that she interacts and sings and stuff. So, wow.
Thank you.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So you guys are, oh, sorry, Dustin, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna comment. I think it's cool, like a band like Saliva, even Drowning Pool. You guys seem to have like a very, you know, you've been constantly grinding, like putting records out every couple of years for the last, you know, 20 years easily. And I know you kind of took over in 2011, but even from that period on, you guys have put out at least three or four records, right?
Yes. Yeah, this will be my fourth or fifth. Yeah. This will be my fifth, I think. But yeah, I think like that's the way it, you know, the cycle. You want to always keep your fans engaged and go tour and, you know, support, you know, new music and stuff, you know, in touring, you know, but I feel like we also, you know, the pandemic kind of kept us, you know, out a bit, but we were able to write and record a bunch during that time and kind of figure out what we wanted to do. And it's been, it's been like 3 years since it's been 5 years since we put out a original record.
Wow.
Full album.
2018. So yeah, that's what's crazy to me is like, you know, I was going to say, yeah, bands typically do put out records every couple of years, but we you know, our goal was to put it out in 2020, but then with shutdown and everything, we took the time to do some other stuff and just write and focus on that.
So who's playing guitar for you on this tour?
So we have this kid, you know, Wayne. There have been a couple of incidences where Wayne had gotten sick and needed someone to fill in. And so we had this kid, Josh from Minnesota, who Wayne adored him. You know, he was on tour with us when he passed, and, you know, doing lights and doing some tech work for him. And so he had filled in for Wayne a few times when he was sick and couldn't make certain shows.
Mhm.
He would be like, call the kid, man, call the kid. That's what he called. So I feel like I hear him telling me that, and we're not in any position to replace him. I think he's irreplaceable. You can't replace a guy like that. So we're not that's not what it is. We just want to go out and honor him and pay tribute to him. And this record we're dropping in September, is basically the last 3 years that we worked on it. What he brought to the record and to the table. And we just want to go share that with people and be able to go tour and honor him. And
Oh shit.
Dang.
We lost him. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Yeah. Hopefully he jumps back on. Though.
Hopefully he jumps back on. Yeah, honestly too, it's cool that like that the guy passed away, so it's kind of cool that they're finishing, like seeing the project through and taking it out on the road and everything, man.
Well, I mean, I don't know the guy, but I would imagine in that kind of instance, if he could say something, he'd say, I want you guys to keep doing music, like.
Of course.
So.
Don't stop. Yeah.
And it's good to take a break or something to just kind of gather yourself, but like, I don't know. I'd want people to keep going on doing what they love, but it's still gotta be tough.
Well, we'll chat for a few more minutes and see if homie comes back on. His phone might have died or something too, because it was pretty sudden. So I don't think he just like.
Yeah, it seemed like a reception issue or something, but
yeah, he might have just cut out. But either way, we got a good session with him. I'm glad that you were had seen the stuff with his daughter, because that's an interesting thing that I didn't.
Oh yeah, you should check it out,
catch.
dude. If you can appreciate kids singing,
I have a daughter myself.
Yeah, she's really good, and I love how he like harmonizes with her and stuff. And
that's cool.
Yeah.
That's very cool, actually. All these guys, Kenny from Typo Negative also has a daughter that he writes songs with. He talked about writing songs with.
Yeah.
And then even Josh Todd from Buck Cherry mentioned he has a daughter. And,
okay.
I don't know if they're working on music or anything, but
yeah.
But that's really cool that he's kind of helping her develop her career and everything.
Yeah. Maybe we can get her on the live stream sometime.
Yeah.
Drops her EP.
Yeah, he can come on with her and help her pump it. If he doesn't come back, we'll wrap up. Like we'll give it like maybe 10 minutes or something.
Yeah, that's fine.
I don't want to just drop off, but my guess is that his phone died or something, because it was pretty sudden. It didn't look like he accidentally like hung up or something.
Or got pissed off at us.
Nah. I posted my dumbass. I posted a thing about their album the other day, and I'm like, oh, do you guys have a new album coming out? There he is. We got you back.
Yeah, man. That was weird. My phone died.
That's what I thought.
That's
exactly. I went. That was pretty sudden, so it looked like his phone probably died.
But you know what's crazy is that like it never dies like that.
Huh.
I still had like 20%, and for some reason it shut off.
It's sometimes Zoom. It might be the Zoom app. But you were talking about going out and playing these songs. When you dropped off, we were saying, we don't know Wayne, but I'm sure that he would probably want you guys to continue on in his absence.
Yeah, 100%. He and I had several talks. He and I were business partners, and a lot of people, I think as a fan, we don't a lot of times don't think about these bands are businesses and corporations and so it's like you have debt, you have bills, you have things that you have to do as a business as well. And this band was built on touring, and how we our business is set up, is to tour and stuff. And so, you know, he and I had all those talks, and, you know, when he got COVID, I mean, he thought he was going to die and all this stuff. And he was a hypochondriac too, though, man. He would like literally, hey man, oh my God, my feet, I gotta like, you know, I gotta go to the hospital. And you know, come to find out, you know, he sprained his foot or whatever. I mean, it was always just something silly. But you know, he had a pill for everything. He had a vitamin for everything, man. So he was just all around the greatest. But you know, so yeah, we always had these talks about stuff like that. And you know, I didn't, I mean, how do you continue on with someone like without him? You know, that's how I look at it. You can't replace a guy like that. He's if you knew him, you would know that. It's just his whole persona and his energy, you know, was always so positive. So
I was just thinking, Bobby, like, you know, like you said, you got to pay the bills. It's got to be hard, like wanting to get back doing what you love, but like it's only been what, like 4 months, and that's got to be super hard when it's not only a business partner but a friend. You know, like that's really tough.
yeah, because take the business part out of it, and it's not about any of that at all. Like for me, it's more of like, I know how he would like react to me considering not doing it.
Mm-hmm.
And he was just, he'd be like, no fucking way.
Mm-hmm.
That's just how he was, you know. And he always, even like when, you know, there'd be shows that he couldn't make or whatever, he would say, you know, call a kid to come fill in. And I'd be like, man, we're just going to cancel it. And he'd be like, no fucking way, dude. No, don't do that. Don't do that.
Yeah.
Like, he was all about the show still going on, you know? And I know, like, you know, if he were here today, man, he'd be enjoying all this. We'd still be doing the same stuff that we're doing, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah, it's definitely tough. It's been a tough year.
Yeah.
But, you know, I feel like there's definitely light. You know, I see the light, you know, ahead, and all we can do is go out and just, you know, pay tribute to him the right way every night. And,
Yeah.
you know, I got my Raiders Sweeney jersey, you know, that I wear. And I know that I'm not a Raiders fan. I'm a Jaguar fan. So he's fucking laughing his ass off right now. You know, but it's all for him, man, you know?
So you said Josh is from Minnesota?
Yeah.
That's where I live. So I'm looking forward to your show here at First Ave in October. I was just teasing CJ from Drowning Pool yesterday. I'm like, you got to come over. We'll cook you steak dinner. But yeah, I'm looking forward to getting over to the show and seeing you guys here. So
yeah, man, we can't wait. I just stoked to get out on the road and be able to, you know, one thing I will say is, like, you know, when Wayne passed away, like, I didn't want to see a stage. I didn't want to do anything, man. And you know, went to my therapist and stuff too. And she kind of talked me through, like, it's just part of the grieving process. But once you get back on stage, you'll realize how much you missed it. And she was right, man. You know, once I get on stage, it's like, fuck, where have you been, you know, all my life? And it was definitely a great feeling to get back out there and you know, be able to, you know, just connect with the fans and, you know, during that time, because I feel like I'm still in this grieving phase in some ways.
oh, for sure.
But just trying to cope and try to, you know, just want to do the right thing by him. That's all.
Do you have any favorite tour stories with Wayne? Like anything that just really jumps out?
Several, dude. Several, man. Like, you know, I got some really funny ones though. There was one time that we were playing a show, and we were like standing outside, and there was these people, they were walking by, these guys are walking by, and we're in full getup. We're about to go on stage. And the guy goes, well, looks like Rob Zombie showed up. And he heard it, and it was fucking hilarious. It was so funny. Then there was another time we played a show, he was trying to impress a girl. He went out to the front, like to merch and stuff, and was hanging out. He was trying to impress a girl. He says, "Watch this." He took a case of beer and ran out the door with it. Literally full blown sprint, like running out the door with this case of beer. And of course, who's running after him? Security and people. Not even thinking about this is the guy that was just on stage playing a show. They gave two flying fucks. This guy trying to ditch out of the place with a case of beer. He doesn't even drink beer. He did it to impress this girl. And it was literally the funniest thing in the world, because as soon as they like got up to him and they tried to tackle him, he was like, no, wait. You know, and then he gave the beer back or whatever. He's like, I was just playing. But it was just like shit like that. That's the stuff that he would do, man. He always would do funny stuff like that. So,
well, it's great that you got so many memories like that.
yeah.
I feel like COVID also intensified the hunger for live music again. So a lot of your fans are just waiting for you guys to get out there.
Yeah, because we haven't really done serious like routed touring in a while. We did a lot of weekend stuff, you know, after COVID and things like that. But, you know, this tour we're bringing like production and lighting and stuff. And it's been a minute since we've done that.
That's awesome.
How many newer songs are you going to be playing on the tour?
A lot, a good bit actually.
Good bit. Okay.
That was the whole idea, was we wanted to split it half and half.
That's cool. I know a lot of people, they like hearing the old hits and stuff, which I mean, it's important to do, but I kind of, you know, when bands put out a new album, I enjoy hearing the new stuff live, you know,
everybody's different, man, you know,
Yeah.
and everybody, you know, wants to hear all old stuff, or they, you know, will listen to new stuff too. And we, I just believe that it makes sense for us to do a lot of the new stuff as well. So we're gonna do half and half, you know. We'll make sure that we play the hits, and then we'll just, you know, try to even it out.
Well, I'm really looking forward to the show. But
yeah, man, can't wait.
So the album comes out September 8th, you said?
It does.
Awesome. Well, we don't want to keep you too long if you got other stuff to do, man. Appreciate you stopping by, and looking forward to seeing you guys out there. You should come back by too. Like, again, next time, you know, you guys are promoting something, you get a new video out or anything, man.
Yeah, sounds good. Definitely, bro. We'll have to hopefully we'll link up in Minnesota.
that'd be awesome.
Yeah, Joey, I'm actually out in the LA area. Joey's in Minnesota, and we got people all over, but
okay, great. Rock and roll.
You'll get here before it gets too cold. So
oh yeah, man. I know. Perfect timing in fall, man. So I can't wait.
Have you ever played Minnesota in like January? It's awful.
I have actually, yeah. Yeah.
So,
Brutal.
well, you enjoy that Florida weather, Bobby, and hope to see you soon.
All right, bud. All right, guys. Thanks.
Thank you so much, man. Appreciate it.
Bye.
I'm glad he came back on.
Yeah, no, I figured he would. I figured he wasn't just trying to cut out like that. And I was right. I was like, that was so sudden. It had to have been
no, it's just my biggest fear. I'm sure it'll never happen, but it's just my biggest fear of like saying the wrong thing and pissing off your, you know.
Don't worry. I wouldn't worry about that. Most of these guys, like you were telling me, you did that interview with the homie from Devil Wears Prada, who's vegan, and you're like trying to put him onto cheese and stuff.
Yeah.
It's like,
which, you know, it's a funny story now. It's just at the time, it's just like, oh man, this is awkward.
Yeah. No, these guys are always super cool. And it's like we were saying yesterday with CJ, it's like talking to these cats always makes me want to like dig into their discography more. And like, you know, you get to, you attach a person to the music and you're like, oh, you know, these are real people, man. Like the stuff he's talking about his homie who just passed away, and that good on you too for, thank you for jumping in and kind of taking the reins a little bit there, because you know a lot more about this band than I do. So
well, it's just, you know, I noticed I mean, this is anything. It's not even just on this forum or whatever, but sometimes you just have more chemistry with one person than another or whatever. And
Sure.
that's normal, you know, and I actually enjoy doing interviews here with you because I feel like, you know, we can both kind of bounce off and
Yeah, no,
it's
me too.
great.
I like having it's, you know, when I started kind of doing these live streams, I started doing it by myself, and it's okay, but it's so much better to have you and Eric, or even just you or just Eric, just to
Yeah.
have some kind of back and forth and like different perspectives. And
Yeah, because I think, you know, just talking, like even when I preach at church, you know, I like that's a half an hour of me just talking with no
Yeah.
dialogue. And it you have to build this like rhythm and system to do that well. And it's got even a bit harder online when you're not like looking at people, you
yeah,
know, to keep the flow going and have it natural. So I enjoy more than one person, but
awesome, man. Yeah, no, I like, I feel that way. It's crazy. Someone made this point the other day. They're like talking about comedians. They're like, comedians are like the only people that you actually pay to listen to them talk. Like maybe a preacher, maybe
yeah,
like sometimes like, but even like most preachers don't get paid to preach, you know. It's like, I mean, you get paid to preach, but
yeah. Well, it's just part of my job, you know, but
right.
yeah,
But like, yeah, my mom, Southern Baptist, like very active in the church, and you know, I'm obviously not a church guy, but I appreciate it, man. And I think it takes a lot of like just to write a sermon every week and do all that kind of stuff. It takes a lot of effort and a lot of talent,
yeah.
skill. So anyway,
So, well, I'm getting more tattoo work done tomorrow, so I won't be able to hop on with you for non-point, but
awesome. Well,
I
I mean, it's
hope,
awesome you're getting more tattoo work. I'm jealous. Like, I had an appointment to start finishing my sleeve on this side, but I just haven't quite got around to it. So that's a good reason to be absent. And I
well, my guy, you got to book him like 6 months in advance.
yeah.
So I booked two sessions last fall for this spring and summer, and now it's like money's tight, and I'm like, I don't want to cancel it, but
No, I know
it
what you mean.
sucks. So
Any
I
good
probably won't be
artist,
done for another year, but whatever.
yeah. Any good artist though, you have to book that far out usually.
Yeah.
Like
This
this
guy's
guy,
real decent, but
yeah, and straight up, it's a tattoo. You know, like I had friends who were like apprenticing, and I have like some scratchy ink that I've got like in my off through the years, whatever, like kind of like not that good, but like the last like 10 years or so, I'm like, I'm not getting tattooed unless I love the artist, and I'm like, I'll invest real money into it, because it's like this stuff's on you forever, man. Like,
right. No, I'm planning on getting one more crappy tattoo. I don't know if I told you this before, but I want to tattoo myself. It's been a bucket list thing of mine. I'm like, I just want to try it and see if I can do it. So I'm gonna put it on top of my thigh. But I just haven't done it yet. So
that's, hey, I would do that. I've actually my brother was, because I'm kind of a, like, I draw a lot, like I'm an artist with inks, and my brother's always been like, dude, you need to learn how to tattoo, dude. He's like, you could go fly anywhere and like have a job
well,
anywhere.
I've got those practice skins to like work on.
Mm.
And I tell you what, man, it's totally different than drawing.
It's a different, yeah.
Totally different. It's
Yeah.
it's like vibrating in your hand, and it's like this thick.
Well,
you know,
I
and
mean, it starts with drawing because you have to lay it out and then put it on the skin.
yeah, but what I'm saying is like it's weird holding it. It's
Right.
not like a pen, and then like living canvas, you know. So
You have to learn. It takes experience to learn how to control the needle. Just like it takes experience to learn how to control a pen. It's a different kind of control.
yeah.
But like, yeah, I won't even get like the last couple of sessions I've had done have been by dudes who've been tattooing for like 20-30 years, you know.
Yeah.
So,
But yeah, I'm just doing practice skins now. My wife's very much against this idea, but I'm like, you know what? No one's gonna see it that high. I don't wear Daisy Dukes, you know, it's fine.
it's women's job to ruin fun. Okay.
Yes.
All right, man. Well, thanks again. Thanks for coming on today, man. I appreciate it. And it was really cool to have a talk with Bobby. And we had some little interesting back and forth before about some of the politics of things. And it's always good to talk to you, man.
Yeah. Well, next week we got something lined up already. So
yeah, I'm gonna keep rolling with this stuff too. Hopefully we can get, like I said, I've been trying to get Fear Factory. there's a couple other bands I think in the peripheral that we can get on too. So Non-Point's
Yeah.
gonna be cool tomorrow. That's a band I've listened to for a long time. It's a shame you can't be here, but you have a good reason. So
Yeah. So that the one next week, I was actually supposed to do that a week ago,
okay.
and then they had some scheduling issues, so we put it off. But I'm
Perfect.
glad that we're able to do it in this format. So
Yeah, we definitely, like I said, I think the goal for me is like this for every week to be like this week, like where we have a band every day, like new band every day, like at least 3 days a week. Like it would be great because there's so many bands we can cover. And I love, like I said, I love the diversity of opinion because Saliva is not a band that I love, but it's a band that you obviously know pretty well. Same with Drowning Pool. But doing these conversations makes
Mhm.
me like go, oh wow, I want to look into this. And also I love having that diversity of content, everything from like Drowning Pool and Saliva to Cannibal Corpse and Black Dahlia Murder to even some like more rock type stuff like Buck Cherry. It's
Yep.
like we can run the gamut on all this stuff and it's all good music. So
Yep. Well, I'll send you the link for that, the one we're doing next week, so you can listen to the band, and
awesome.
we'll go from there. So I'll talk
Definitely
to you
we'll
soon.
do that. All right.